Welcome back to the Gentleman's Gazette. Today's video is all about cotton. We discuss what it is, what it's not, the differences in qualities, the impact on the environment, what you should look for when you buy it, and what to watch out for. Cotton, you may wonder? Isn't all cotton the same? No, it isn't. Even if it's 100% cotton, there are huge differences. And today, about 75% of menswear garments have some form of cotton in them. It's very affordable, versatile, and accessible, and it can hold up to 27 times its own weight in water. It is grown on 2.5% of the world's arable land, and overall, it's a fiber you should know about. So what exactly is cotton? It's basically lint from the cotton plant, which is part of the Gossypium family. And the fibers were meant to protect the seeds and are comprised entirely out of cellulose, a material you often find in nature, such as trees. Other fabrics, such as viscose or bamboo fabrics, are all based on cellulose as well. Cotton plants are actually shrubs and they grow wildly, but today they're cultivated most of the time. Looking back, cotton was found in garments up until 6000 BC, and it was mostly found in the Middle East. Today, the commercially foremost grown cottons are all derived from that ancient cotton plant. Columbus noticed it when he came to the Bahamas. It had a huge impact on slavery, which was perpetuated by the growth of cotton in the South. And to learn more about it, I urge you to check out our in-depth guide on the website here. Today, most of the cotton comes from the US, China, India, as well as many countries in Africa and South America. In the US, commercial level growth of cotton is heavily subsidized. While developed nations hugely rely on machines to harvest cotton, it is still picked by hand in Africa or in Egypt, in India and developing countries. Of course, picking it by hand is much more labor intensive and the people who do it are not paid very well. At the same time, you get a purer fiber simply because you don't get any impurifications into the fiber at the picking stage. When cotton is harvested, it usually still has the seeds, and so after harvesting in the country of origin, as well as in the country where the cotton is spun and woven, it goes to many gins that make sure to remove all the seeds, dirts, and impurification from the cotton. Because the purer the cotton, the better it is. Not all cotton fibers are alike. The better ones are longer, and you can get them in 5 or 6 centimeter lengths, which is like 2 to 2.5 inches. Lower end cotton has shorter staples, and it's harder to spin them into yarns. At the same time, it is usually softer, but you will see peeling much more quickly, and it will wear out prematurely. For that reason, all quality cotton products rely on long staple cotton. Once the fiber is clean, it is spun into a yarn, and sometimes you have a two-ply yarn, which means 2 strands of yarn are plied together, which helps to create a more resilient yarn that is at the same time more consistent and long-lasting. Another process to improve cotton is called gassing. It's used to brighten the fiber and smoothen it, which gives it that typical quality sheen you may know from higher end cotton shirts, especially in the twill weave. Once the cotton is woven, there's a number of different finishing steps that are sometimes proprietary to the manufacturers, and it will help to really get the best out of the cotton fabric. Now that you know how it's made, let's talk about the environmental impact. Cotton is very resource intensive in the growing stage as well as in the manufacturing stage. And it uses a lot of water, and the chemicals used to process it can be ecologically very damaging. As a crop, cotton likes warm climates, and as such, it is oftentimes grown in areas where there is not enough rainfall, so it heavily relies on irrigation, such as in Egypt. To keep pests at bay, you need a lot of chemicals. Because of that, genetically modified seeds have been developed that keep pests at bay, so you don't have to use as many chemicals, but you still need a lot comparatively. Because of rising levels in cotton that gets to the end producer, the whole movement of organic cotton was started, which is ever growing. By definition, organic cotton neither has chemicals or pesticides, and it doesn't rely on genetically modified seeds. Apart from cotton using a lot of water, it has been linked to desertification in parts of the world, as well as salidation of the ground. The upsides of cotton are that it is an organic material that will decompose, unlike things like nylon or polyester. In terms of cotton quality, it all starts with a staple length. Short staple is considered 3/4 of an inch or about 1.5 centimeters. Medium staple cotton is considered to be about 3/4 of an inch to 1.25 inch, and long staple cotton is anything from 1.25 inch all the way up to 2.5 inches. While the majority of cotton in the world is short staple and then some medium staple, you will only see the staple length used in marketing for higher-end cottons. Sometimes when you see labels of higher-end cotton, you will see the term Sea Island cotton. But what exactly does that mean? It is an extra long staple cotton grown on the Sea Islands outside of South Carolina and Georgia. In theory, the sunshine and the level of humidity provide the perfect conditions for a high-quality cotton. An even higher form of Sea Island cotton is the so-called West Indian Sea Island cotton, which is legally only allowed to be grown in parts of the Caribbean. Even though the output is limited by the size of the island, there are a lot more products labeled as Sea Island or West Indian Sea Island cotton than there is actually made in any given year. Obviously, there's a lot of fraud going on in that market. However, if you can get your hands on genuine West Indian Sea Island cotton, it's almost like touching cashmere. Sometimes shirt makers also advertise Egyptian cotton. And basically what they mean is it's the longest staple cotton from a batch. It's not necessarily cotton that is always from Egypt. You'll also find Egyptian cotton in towels or anything that touches the skin. Usually it's used to demand a higher price from the consumer. A subgroup of Egyptian cotton is the so-called Giza cotton, which is more high-end. Each Giza quality comes with a number, with Giza 45 cotton being the most luxurious and high-end Egyptian cotton on the market. It's extra long, has superior fineness, and is very consistent. To guarantee the highest quality of the longest staple Giza 45 cotton, it is hand-picked and hand-combed, so there are no impurifications, and you get the finest cotton there is. Sometimes you see the name Pima cotton or American Pima, which is named after an American Indian tribe. It is also considered to be an extra long staple cotton, and it came about in the 1900s. You may also have seen Supima cotton, which is short for Superior Pima cotton. And while it's not a grade, it's an organization that tries to promote Pima cotton. Like, organic cotton in itself is not a description of quality. All it tells you that no chemicals or pesticides were used and it's not genetically modified. It doesn't tell you anything about the staple length, so if you pay more for organic cotton, you do so because of the impact it has and the pesticide freeness, not the quality. In my experience, West Indian Sea Island cotton is really the cream of the crop, and I would even place it above a Giza 45 cotton. For dress shirts, I would always go for a 2-ply cotton and make sure that it's 100% cotton and it's not stretched with polyester or nylon. While that makes it more durable and it's maybe appropriate for uniforms, workwear, maybe for chefs in the kitchen, it's not something you want to wear on your skin because it's rougher and not as comfortable. Also, it's not as absorbent. If you're lucky, you can also sometimes find polo shirts made out of Pima cotton. However, most of the time, it's a lower grade cotton. Interestingly, thread counts, or GSM, grams per square meter, are units used usually for linens and towels, not for garments. In my experience, there's a lot of fraud going on, and I wouldn't rely just on a number that's presented to me. So how can you find out if cotton is luxurious? The problem is that if you have a soft cotton, it can feel very comfortable on your skin, but it's in fact soft because the staple is so short. A higher-end cotton is usually very fine, which means you can have a very fine weave and you get a very nice sheen. For men's shirts, probably Albini is the largest kit on the block, and if you want to learn more about that company, check out our guide on the website here. At the same time, there are other good cotton manufacturers out there, but sometimes the problem with relying on brands is that they may change the quality over time without you noticing it or without them changing their label. For example, I own Polo Ralph Lauren sweaters from a time span over 10 years, and the quality has gone downhill by a lot. The sweaters have gotten softer, but it's because they use shorter staple cotton that peels much more easily and looks old, and the colors look washed out much more quickly than the older sweaters I have. So what are the cotton buying do's and don'ts? Don't believe that all cotton is created equal. Quality cotton is usually softer, it is shinier, it is finer, and it has a smaller impact on the environment because you can wear it for longer periods of time. You should always expect more from a higher-end cotton retailer. They should be able to tell you what specific kind of cotton is used, how many plies they are, how heavy the fabric is, and where it was sourced. At the same time, don't believe all the labels that are not backed up by a trusted industry authority, such as Albini, Thomas Mason, or Tessitura Monti, or or other famous cotton makers which are known to produce a quality product made out of long staple cotton. So how should you care for cotton? Fortunately, it's one of the more easier items to take care of. You can machine wash it, you can hand wash it, but machine wash is totally fine. The only time I'd stay away from machine washing my cotton is in a suit, such as a seersucker suit or another cotton suit, but mainly because of the canvas and the things on the inside, not necessarily because of the fabric itself. Ideally, you should always follow the care instructions on the label, because if you wash it too hot, the color may come out, and I also would urge you to wash it with light colors, otherwise the chances of it looking duller is much higher. To keep colors vibrant and the cotton in a good stage, it's best not to wash a pair of jeans after every single time of wear, and if you do, you can pull them inside out, just like with the sweaters, to try to prevent peeling on the outside, which is visible. Also, it helps your cotton if you don't over dry it. So ideally air dry it. If you have to use a dryer, maybe partially put it in a dryer and then hang it to be air dried. Otherwise, if you fully put it in a dryer, your garment won't last as long. When it comes to dress shirts, you should never put them into the dryer because of the interlining that may come loose and it's harder on it. So always air dry those. You can either iron a dress shirt when it's wet, so it's relatively easy and the wrinkles come out. The problem is it takes a lot longer, and so you have to figure out what makes sense for you. Ideally, you put it in a hanger and let it dry. When in doubt about the temperature you should wash your cotton at, go with a lower temperature or wash it on cold, because it will make sure that your colors last longer. If you enjoyed this video, make sure to check out our series on cashmere, as well as our other guides on worsted and flannel, so you'll learn more about the fibers and fabrics used in menswear, and you can see what's right for you, what to buy and what not to buy. In today's video, I'm wearing a rather casual outfit made of a polo shirt from Uniqlo out of 100% cotton. The collar is made like a shirt collar, and it's not so flimsy like usual polo shirt collars. Because of that, I really like it. Because I'm wearing it untucked, it's not longer in the back than it is in the front. And the shirts I'm wearing are by Polo Ralph Lauren, made out of a soft cotton. This is an old pair of shorts that is still made of a higher quality cotton, in my opinion, than the newer shorts you can buy these days. My shoes are casual summer shoes called alpargatas from Spain. They're made out of a checked cotton fabric on a ute sole with rubber. It's a very summery shoe, and it doesn't give you a lot of structure, yet it's breathable, and I find it perfect for outings at the beach or just very summery resort wear outfits that don't really care about formality.